Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be talking about this man, Leandro Trossard, assisting 3 times in one game, breaking the records. He's the only player to do that in the Premier League in the first half. He's the only player to provide 3 assists in a game of football in the first half, in the existence of the Premier League. And I'm asking the question right about now on this channel: is Leandro Trossard the best signing in January in the recent market? Is he the best signing in the Premier League overall? You factor in the likes of Mudryk, the likes of Joao Felix, the likes of MYKHAYLO Mudryk, the likes of Valverde at Manchester United, the likes of Sabitzer, and all those signings, including Cody Gakpo, who has actually done very well at Liverpool. Is he the best signing of the January transfer window? Let me know in the comment box below. I want your thoughts. I want your opinions. And look, how about for this one, right? Has Leandro Trossard been better than MYKHAYLO Mudryk? Is he better generally as a signing, as a player? Is he better than MYKHAYLO Mudryk? Or you guys feel like MYKHAYLO Mudryk just hasn't kicked off, but when he kicks off, he will be a better player than Leandro Trossard? I want your thoughts, genuine thoughts. Overall, is MYKHAYLO Mudryk a better player than Leandro Trossard, or Trossard is a much better player than MYKHAYLO Mudryk? I want your thoughts, I want your opinions as we dive into the signing of Leandro Trossard and why I think Arsenal absolutely got this one spot on. We purely got this one absolutely right. Right, so let's get into it. Now, in January, we tried to sign a couple of players on the flanks. We tried to sign MYKHAYLO Mudryk. That deal didn't actually go through, and Arsenal really panicked a little bit there. And I thought our January transfer business was actually going to be a little bit shit. It was going to be affected by the fact that we didn't sign MYKHAYLO Mudryk, and it was kind of a key player that we wanted. Mikel Arteta and Edu decided that they will go for Leandro Trossard, who had a certain bit of contract blip with Brighton. They signed him for around 29 million euros. 29 million euros. That is 27 plus add-ons. And right now, he has assisted 5 goals in the Premier League, more than any other player ever since he came in at Arsenal. Ever since January, he has assisted 5 times, more than any other player ever since he started playing for Arsenal in January. What a signing he has been for Arsenal. What a player he's actually been. And I tell you what, this is my opinion. I think Arsenal signing Leandro Trossard could be the game changer for us this season. It could be the reason as to why we're winning the league. It could be the reason as to why we will win the league. It could be the reason. Because look, if we had signed MYKHAYLO Mudryk, I don't want to say that he has not actually hit the ground running at Chelsea, because Chelsea are poor. MYKHAYLO Mudryk is one of the signings that have actually flopped in January. The rest of the signings that came in at Chelsea are actually doing very well. Enzo Fernandez is doing brilliantly. Joao Felix is doing brilliantly as well at the side. Noni Madueke showed some, a bit of quality when he's been given the time. And Benoit Badiashile right now is one of the best signings in the Premier League in the year 2023. So for me, MYKHAYLO Mudryk will look for all the excuses, this and that. But to be honest, many of the Chelsea signings have started off very well. Yes, the team is not doing very, very well, but at least in performances where Chelsea have actually been that good, their performance, their new signings have actually stepped up. And that's why I think signing MYKHAYLO Mudryk at Arsenal maybe wouldn't have made it any better. Maybe. I'm only saying, this is very, very hypothetical. Maybe if we signed him at Arsenal, it could have been the same story. It could have been that he was never going to work out in the Premier League, or he was never going to work out for us even in the first year or even in the second year. It could have been that kind of Jack Grealish needs some time to adapt to the league, needs some time to get into the system and understand the environment and players around him. But while Leandro Trossard is such a smart signing, one, it's a panic buy. And when I say it's a panic buy, I don't mean this in a very bad way like many of you will actually tell me, because I'm going to tell you something here. When we signed Jakub Kiwior, everyone said Jakub Kiwior was a panic buy. I don't think Jakub Kiwior was a panic buy. I think Jakub Kiwior is the player Arsenal have tracked for some time, and that's why they signed him. They knew him, and they know his abilities, and they feel he is a high-value player. I think he's one of those players that you sign, and whether it works out or not, you still get your money back and even get some bit of profit. But with Leandro Trossard, it was more of a plan B, right? A plan B, in my opinion, that didn't even exist, because you cannot tell me that you'll go to a club like Brighton and sign their main talisman as a plan B. It's impossible. It's purely impossible. I think this was pure luck. This was very, very lucky from Arsenal, from Mikel Arteta, and from whoever actually got this deal done. It was very lucky. One, the player becoming a contract rebel, but on top of that, instead of apart from becoming a contract rebel, Leandro Trossard actually fell out with the manager. He fell out with Roberto Di Zerbi, and that is the only reason as to why Arsenal, Tottenham, and anyone who could have signed him actually got the chance to sign him in January. You don't lose a player like Leandro Trossard in January. You don't lose your main talisman in January, because at Brighton, this guy was the best player. It was their best player every single season, right? Before Di Zerbi, before we all knew who Brighton were, it was always Leandro Trossard. Before they became the club they are, Leandro Trossard was the most threatening player, right? So for us to sign him as a plan B, that was purely lucky, and it was very, very smart as well. Why do I think Leandro Trossard is the best signing in January? Why do I think he was a better signing than MYKHAYLO Mudryk? Number one, I think Leandro Trossard has shown his Premier League experience. Ever since he stepped into this Arsenal side, he has been so much better than many players I won't talk about in this squad. Very, very confident. He's got the experience. He's got the pedigree. And when he plays, you look at a player who's playing with a lot of Premier League experience, right? This guy doesn't dive. I've not seen him, kind of try to dive to win penalties, because he knows in the Premier League, it's physical. It's not about, throwing yourselves into the feet of defenders and claiming penalties. He's got that Premier League experience, right? You look at the 3 assists that he made against Fulham today, and you've got to ask the question, was this a 20 million signing? This guy looks like a 40, 50 million signing, but it was only around 27 million pounds in terms of signing for Arsenal. That's what we paid for, right? But you look at the quality of the balls he was delivering in the penalty area. You look at his versatility, starting off on the left when he dropped Gabriel Martinelli, then dropping into the middle when Nketiah picked up that injury, and through the middle, he's actually been revolutionary. He's been so good for Arsenal, right? So for me, it's that Premier League experience that I think Arsenal got in Leandro Trossard over MYKHAYLO Mudryk. Both of them are very experienced in terms of playing football. I think MYKHAYLO Mudryk has actually played at a bigger stage in the UEFA Champions League than Leandro Trossard. But Trossard playing in the Premier League, Trossard playing that football in the Premier League, it just allows him, become a much better signing. It just allows him become a much better player. But number 2 is the system. And I know Mikel Arteta has always tried to find that kind of guy who is very, very different. Trying to sign Rafinha, trying to sign Pedro Neto, trying to sign Moussa Diaby, trying to sign those players that are very, very different. But with Leandro Trossard, this is, he fits into the system as nobody else would. I think if you played him on the right wing, he would play for you there. If you played him through the middle, just like we did in this game, he would play very well there. And if you played him as a left winger, which we've already seen, he plays very well there. So his versatility is actually another point that I think Arsenal really benefit from and gain from as compared to MYKHAYLO Mudryk. I did see Potter play MYKHAYLO Mudryk as a 10 in the Leicester City game. And I thought MYKHAYLO played quite very well, but not as good as Leandro Trossard when he plays as a false 9. Not as good as Leandro Trossard when he plays as a left winger. When he plays as a left winger, he's literally unstoppable. When he plays as a left winger, he's literally running riot. He's running, it's becoming unreal. He's purely purely unreal. So that kind of versatility and the flexibility he offers Arsenal, I think it just makes us a better side. It really, really does. Especially with Gabriel Jesus out of the team. It makes us a much better side because it allows Martinelli to make those runs into the penalty area. It allows Saka to make those runs into the penalty area. And one thing I like about him that Jesus doesn't have is when you play that ball into the penalty area, he is there. He is always there. He will be there to receive it. He will be there to tap it in. He will be there to literally, get engaged in the penalty area. Something that Gabriel Jesus doesn't have, at the moment. Point number 3, what I think is the signing of the summer, impact. I think that is what we all ask for in January. And I said it, that the quality of signings you want in January are players that are already going to hit the ground running. You don't want to sign 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds that are going to ask for time to cope up with the league, cope up with the demands of the team. This is an Arsenal side that was looking for players to facilitate our journey, players to facilitate us as we ride through and grind our way through to the first Premier League title in 18 years, okay? That's not easy, especially with Manchester City scratching our back. They want us to look back and slip and fall down. So the quality of signings we needed, I actually think we actually got that quality. In Trossard, who is 28, and Jorginho, who is 31, okay? So you look at those two players, you look at their profiles, and you appreciate Edu's work. These are two signings that have come in, and they have literally made Arsenal a much better side. The impact of Leandro Trossard, and I'll do a video about Jorginho probably, but the impact of Leandro Trossard on Arsenal is massive. It's purely massive. And I know Mikel Arteta will be thinking, why didn't I play Leandro Trossard in those games where I persistently played Eddie Nketiah and we never had options, right? Why didn't I play Leandro Trossard in those games? And probably we could have won against Brentford, in my opinion, if he had started. We could have won against Everton. Because, listen, what we lacked in the Everton game is very similar to what we lacked in the Brentford game. Switches, unpredictability, and quality on the final third. Eddie Nketiah literally is standing there, and if you don't feed him, if you don't give him the service, he does nothing, right? And that's where Leandro Trossard comes in. His impact, 5 assists already for Arsenal since January. He scored a goal against Brentford for us as well, and one beautiful goal that is disallowed. And I'll tell you something. Just like all the other players, Mudryk, Leandro Trossard still has a lot to offer. We have not seen the best of him. If we played him in a Europa League clash, maybe against Sporting, if we gave him the easier games in the Europa League, we're going to see the best of Leandro Trossard. Mikel is going to have a selection headache when it comes to Trossard and Gabriel Jesus. Do you play Gabriel Jesus, who is sensational for you as a manager? Do you play Leandro Trossard, who has been very good for you as a team? What's going to happen, right? But his impact with this Arsenal side and for this Arsenal side has been very, very magnificent. There is no doubt. He's one of the reasons why the games against Everton at home, Leicester City away, Fulham away, why those games have actually been very easy. They've been very easy because you have a player that literally cannot be tracked. You have a player who is so clever, so wise, and he offers the team more and more and more and more. So if I were to compare Leandro Trossard in January, among all the January signings, there are only 2 players I would think about. Number 1 is Benoit Badiashile at Chelsea. I think he's coming and revolutionized that role of playing next to Thiago Silva. And when the likes of Wesley Fofana were out, when the likes of Kalidou Koulibaly were struggling, I think Benoit Badiashile actually did very, very well. I think Benoit Badiashile has had the same amount of impact. Okay, not the same amount of impact, but his performances have been as quality as Leandro Trossard's. But impact-wise, Trossard has had a far better impact, a bigger impact than Benoit Badiashile. The other player that I would say has had a very, very massive, has been a very good signing is Cody Gakpo at Liverpool. I think he didn't start off very well, just like Leandro Trossard. I think Trossard started off very well. All right. So I don't think Gakpo started off very well. He didn't. But you look at his combination with Darwin Núñez and Salah, there is something in there. There is something. There is a player in there. Maybe Joao Felix as well at Chelsea. I think I really, really feel like his impact has been good. And Wout Weghorst at Man United. But you think about all those players in the bracket, and you look at this guy, Leandro Trossard. He's outstanding. He actually beats any competition that anyone will put on the table and say, this is the player who has been better than Leandro Trossard. I don't think there is, right? Actually, I would put Jorginho in contention for signing of January, but for now, it's Leandro Trossard. Let me know if you agree with me and you are okay with the fact that I said Leandro Trossard has been the signing of the January transfer window and is the best player among all those that clubs signed in January. He has been the best signing. If you agree, let me know in the comment box below, and surely I'll speak to you right in the next one.